start with one of the top performers, Mondi. We'll see its share chart in a minute. It's probably one of the best big cap performers on our markets in recent years. Remember, it's got a dual listed structure. So we've got MNPs and MNDs, similar to Investec. So it's listed in London and here, that's the MNPs. And then there's another part of it which is listed just here. You've got to add the two together to get its market cap, although they both participate in the earnings of the twin entity. The focus here is on timber production, mostly around Eastern Europe and elsewhere. Then also the manufacturing, but not so much of the coated papers. We're talking here particularly about kraft, which is the brown paper you use for like cement sacks, as well as corrugated. That's board, that gets used to make cardboard boxes like Amazon ships around, and like the manufacturers of FMCG goods put into boxes that then get circulated before they get unpacked in the stores. Market capitalization, if you add the two together, 153 billion rand. Price to earnings ratio 20.36, dividend yield of 1.8. Spun off out of the Anglo group, but really doing very well in recent years. Huh?
No, fantastic. I think a lot of it, again, has to do with that currency hedge sort of component to it. I mean, a lot of its revenue, as you mentioned, is in Europe. Yep. But also, I think one of the competitive advantages that Mondi has over many other packaging companies is that it controls it's vertically integrated. So it controls the forest as well. I think they've got something like 2 million hectares of forest that they manage as well.
And is that right? Largely in like places like Russia and Belarus and...
Definitely, Eastern Europe. I mean, primarily they are European based. I mean, they've got forests in South Africa as well. But I think as revenue, as a proportion of revenue at least, it's only about 8% of the group. So South Africa. So it's a far smaller thing. What happens in Europe is what matters for Mondi, definitely.
So as the rand weakens to the euro, you get better rand results, and that sort of makes sense. But to be fair to them, it's not just a currency play. Somehow or other. David Hathorn and his management team located at Melrose Arch in Joburg run this global group with incredible effect. And all of their purchases have been good. They've consolidated. They've shut things down when they needed to. They've opened others up.
No, definitely. I think, in the sector, management is especially important because it's actually a very capital-intensive sector. So you need to spend a lot of money to actually, make decent EBITDA. So if you look at it, I mean, what the guys have done is absolutely fantastic. I mean, they've really pursued that sort of lowest cost producer, and that is their competitive advantage. And it's difficult to see how the guys can compare.
Sorry to cut you off, but look at that share chart. Yeah. So we've had this at times, 2014, bit of a quiet year, but look how well they've done this year.
This year has been absolutely spectacular. It really, hats off to the guys.
So it's principally listed in Europe because the MNPs have a greater market cap. It's in the London market, and it then trades on a secondary basis down here. I mean, where to from here for them? Do you perceive them to be well positioned to grow with the European economy, the recovery in retail? That's got to be good for them.
No, definitely. And also remember, a lot of the problem is the input prices. So with the general commodity prices coming down as well, this is also going to feed into actually helping them because it actually expands their margins too. So as well as you're obviously getting wealth effects across Europe, you've got the QE in Europe as well, sort of stimulating economic growth. Now I think Mondi's got a long way to go, and I mean, especially it's got also a very small footprint in China, but it is in China as well. Okay. I mean, as China moves to a more consumer-driven economy, I mean, there's a huge market there for it to expand into as well.
My colleague Sasha was pointing out that Mondi was kicked out of Anglo-American because Anglo perceived it to be non-core. So if you were an Anglo shareholder, this was, 7, 8, 9 years ago, they spun off the Mondis and people got these small Mondi holdings in their accounts. What is this? Since then, Anglo's capitalization has plummeted. Mondi's has gone up to the extent now that Mondi represents about 2/3 of what you've got with Anglo. So interesting turn and reversal of fortunes. Okay, but you seem to be leaning towards remaining hot on Mondi.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the more expensive companies that we're going to look at today. I mean, obviously, if we're going to look at Sappi compared to it, I mean, if you're buying the earnings at Mondi, you're paying almost twice the price for earnings at Sappi. So it is very expensive. But that said, it's expensive because it's good. Yeah. And I think the momentum is there. I think you can still buy it.
Okay, good. I'm going to go hot on Mondi too.